What is up, everybody? This is Omegabalmung and welcome to my review for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 is published by Bandai Namco and it is released on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, and I think that is pretty much it. So it is a sequel to the first Dragon Ball Xenoverse game that was pretty much on everything, PS3, Xbox 360, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, you play as a created character who is a time controller. It's pretty much you're trained now. If you've seen or played the first Dragon Ball Xenoverse, you were summoned to become a time controller, but this time around you are pretty much being trained by the Supreme Kai or the Elder Kai to become a time controller who actually goes out into these different timelines to try to fix it, because of course the bad guys are interrupting or messing the timeline up and you're there to fix it. There is some cool character creation that you were able to do in the beginning when you first start the game. You pretty much pick between, I think it was 5 different races. You got the humans, Saiyans, Namekins, Frieza race, and the Buu race, and each one has their own kind of cool abilities. Like one is more stronger with key attacks, or one has health regeneration and things like that. So there are different little things you could pick up from different characters or different race. Then of course with that you can customize your character on how he looks, his hair, his eyes, his ears, his mouth, his nose, and things like that. There's only like maybe a handful of different customization. You can't, like, form it the way you want. You just pick a face and that's pretty much it. And then you can also pick different colors for your clothing and all of that. So you're not just bound to one type of color. You can change it, and you can change it whenever you want to. So when I say character customization, you can customize pretty much your clothing, your skill sets, and when you level up, you can also add ability points too. So before we talk about those two, I want to talk about pretty much picking your clothing for your character. You have a ton of clothes you can go through, from your chest, pants, to gloves and shoes, and even to accessories for your hair. So whatever you want for accessories. Actually, it's not actually for hair, it's for pretty much anything accessory wise. They do drop from parallel quests, and I'll talk about parallel quests later, but they do drop from that. They drop from a storyline, and you can also buy them in different shops. So like I said, each character will look different. Each clothing will add certain stats to it. So sometimes you'll have a piece of clothing that will add more attack to your character, and then you lose a little bit of ki or health, or vice versa, and things like that. So sometimes they give you these arrows, these blue or red arrows. Blue means up, red means down. Sometimes you'll get 2 or 3 arrows. That means you get a big boost in it. Sometimes it's like 4 or 5. So it really depends on what you want. Like I said, if you don't really want to lose any stats, you can always go with the regular clothes. I don't think you lose anything from that. But if you want to go to these cool looking outfits, like a Gogeta outfit or something like that, you'll be losing a lot of clothing for not clothing, but you lose a lot of stats on certain stuff, but you gain a whole bunch of stats. So it depends on what you want. And then you also have different abilities that you can use. Your character is not just one set of abilities and that's it. You can have different, you mix and match different move sets for your actions. Fighting actions are all the same. I think humans and Saiyans are pretty much the same. Sometimes Namekins have a little bit different setup when they're fighting, but in a similar, they're all pretty much all the same in the way they fight. But depends on what your abilities are. So like say your super attacks, your ultimate attacks, and sometimes your breakout abilities. Depends on what you want. You could pick. So it give you a whole list also. And this is the same thing as your clothing customization. They drop from story mode, they drop from parallel quests, and you can buy them with Zennies or TP, these TP tokens you get. So it depends on what you want. to pick supers, there are 4 slots you can use. They put whatever supers you want in them. Supers usually you can tell are from 100 key to 200 key. I think maybe you might have 300, but I'm not 100% sure with that. But so far I've seen this 100 and 200 key abilities or moves, so that's what you know where they are. So you have 4 abilities. Usually one of them I usually like to keep a key charge or whatever you want to do, what you want to call it. You can charge your key, so of course regains it back for you. And then the 3 are whatever special abilities you want. So you can have like a Kamehameha, Masenko, whatever you want in that slot you can put into it. Then when you go next one, which is ultimate attacks, you can have 2 ultimate attacks, and those are usually about 300 key to 500 key. Of course 500 keys are super powerful, but there is a draw to them. You have to have that type of key allowed. So but anyways, these are your ultimate attacks. These are the ones that you hit L1 and R1 and then square or triangle, depending on what you want. So they are the ones that will cause the most damage, but at the same time you kind of have to set them up for it. But anyways, like I said, they're usually about 3 to 500 key, and you would know which one they are, and they are super awesome. They're a cool little cutscenes, and you see a big old beam that comes up. That's what it is. So, and then of course you have your transformation you can do. Each class has their own transformation. Of course, Saiyans are always pretty cool. I like the Saiyans because they have Super Saiyan, and then Super Saiyan 1, 2, and 3. You got the Namekins who can grow big. You got Friezas who can do the Frieza race, who can do Golden Frieza. And you got the Boo race that can turn into like a Kid Boo. So pretty cool stuff there. I like how they kind of mix match everything together to make it cool. So now it's not just Super Saiyans anymore, because in Xenoverse 1 it was just Super Saiyans and that was it. So it was kind of like that. Anyways, when you find out all your customization for your character, you can take it on to story mode or online or parallel quest or little things like that. There's also little tiny side quests you can do. You can have trainers and things like that, to get more moves from, some of the moves you can't buy. So you have to use trainers again, like a Vegeta who could be a trainer, Krillin, Yamcha, Tien, pretty much almost the whole Dragon Ball Z cast are there for them to train you. Usually it goes a quick move, it's a basic move, and then a super, and then another super, and then the last move is always ultimate. So you kind of progress through the storyline, and they give you more and more trainers for you to, and then you can have one as your master, and then masters will come and help you, in battle when you need it. So I had Goku for the longest time. I actually had Beerus for the longest time, and he'll come in and help you. And then I swapped to Goku, and then of course Goku comes and help you when you need it. Gameplay wise, you're looking at pretty much. It's a free form kind of game. It's 3D, so it's not just a side scrolling action, 2D, kind of like Budokai. It's more like Tenkaichi, which is, you can fly around the map whatever you want to. You go in the water. It's just pretty much the same as that. And then of course you have your basic attacks, or square and triangle. You can block. You have to be able to move up and down. You can dodge. You use your supers, ultimates, and things like that. So to make it pretty cool, it's just a basic fighting game with some little quirks in there, Dragon Ball Z quirks. If you play a lot of Dragon Ball Z games, that's where it usually comes from. And then that's pretty much it. You'll usually have to pick one character, your character, or which is the main character, or sometimes you can choose, or most of the times when you're playing through the storyline, you can pick your character, which has to be it. And then when you do parallel quests, you can pick different characters if you want to, or you can pick your character. Sometimes they'll give you, a chance to pick another character. Mostly in the parallel quests, that's what happens. In the story mode, you only get your character, and then whoever's helping you during time, Trunks, Goku, that's it. But in parallel quests, you get to actually use a different character, or you get to pick you pick a character and then 2 other characters come along with you. Talking about parallel quests, that's pretty much the meat of the game here. You get these quests, I think it's like 100 something quests. I'm only on like 90 something so far, like 98 or something. You have to kind of play through them to open some of them up, so you get some pretty cool stuff from there. Those are pretty much the meat of the game. You get drops from there, like I said before. You get clothing drops, ability drops, item drops. So whatever it's in those parallel quests, I would definitely try to get them. It's all RNG, just like the first one, but I find it to be a little bit more easier than the first one, just because you have to complete these certain tasks in these parallel quests to open up to get certain moves. This one's so much easier to do. I felt so much, I felt like doing them. I mean, in the first Xenoverse, you had to do it, but sometimes, you would do it like 10 times and you won't even get the drop. In this one, at least I feel most of the time, sometimes you have to do, 4 or 5 times, which is okay. But most of the times it drops in that. So the only ones I haven't seen drop so far for me, I haven't been lucky with, is the raids, but I will talk about the raids later on. So anyways, with parallel quests, you can do it, like I said, by yourself, and then you pick 2 other CPUs to come with you, and it depends on where you are in the storyline. It opens up these characters for you. So in the beginning you start with like Goku and Vegeta only, and then like a Piccolo, and then or a Krillin or something like that, and then as you play it through on the storyline, it opens up for you. Then you also have the online parallel quest, which is pretty much the same setup as offline. The only difference is you can go join somebody else's game, and then you and 2 other people will play. So that's pretty cool. I like that. And the raids are pretty much the same setup as like that. Raids are pretty much what it is. You take 6 people with you, and you go and fight these bosses that are super huge or super strong, and it takes a little bit more tactics than just going out there and kicking butt, straight fighting. You have to do some little smaller things like that, but I won't ruin anything for that for you guys, so I won't talk too much about that. But you could do that. Though the raids are the ones that I feel like it's harder to drop. I've done the first raid so many times for I think it was the eraser cannon or something. I forgot what move that was, but I didn't even get a drop for that. It sucks so much I couldn't get it. So but like I said, awesome stuff from there. So much things to be packed into the game, and like I said, you could do raids, parallel quests, story mode. I think I finished the story mode in like just a few, maybe like less than 6 or 7 hours, maybe even less than that, but the most of the meat really comes from the parallel quest. So storyline for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 is pretty simple. It's literally almost the same. That's the only problem I really have. It's almost the same as Xenoverse. It's technically the same. They use a lot of the assets. The storyline's similar. I won't ruin the bad guy for you guys, but it's just like, really, that's it. They kind of messed up on that, but what you pretty much do is take your character, you create a character, and you play through the storyline. It's cool that you actually get to see the character from the first game. If you play the first game, you can import that character over, and then he becomes, he's like the hero of Toki Toki City, which was in the first game. Now it's Canton City, which is the second game. It's a bigger hub world, which is actually pretty cool. We'll talk about the hub world in a second here, but I want to talk about the story mode first. So yeah, and then you pretty much go through the timeline, whatever needs to get fixed. The Supreme Kai tells you, you go and fix it. You go through Saiyan Saga, Frieza Saga, Cell Saga, the Majin Saga. So you pretty much go through that. You touch a bit of base on super stuff. Not really. I want to say just maybe where the Battle of Gods, and that's actually Battle of Gods. I think it was Golden Frieza, and that's pretty much it. So after that, it's pretty much, I wish they would have gone into more of the Super, where we've seen the Super, but it wouldn't make sense to the US audience because it's not out in the US yet. It's only out in Japan. Kind of out, well, Crunchyroll now has it, but anyways. Talking about and that's pretty much the storyline right there. There's some little twists there, here and there, that they could throw at you, but other than that, it's fairly simple, almost the same as Xenoverse, the first Xenoverse game. And of course, like I said, the Hub City is where it's at right now. Hub City, it's super huge. In the beginning, you can only run, and then you have access to this little, capsule machine that you pop open, and you could, use it as transportation around the Hub City. There is no loading screen anymore. The only time you need a load is when you go to like Guru's house, Majin Buu's house, Frieza's airship, or the Capsule Corporation. Those are the only times you really need to load, but everything is set in this big old hub world. You see like a little space for a Namek space. You can see space for the city, you got, you know, where all the parallel quests are and all of that, and all that doesn't need any loading. And like I said, you start out by just walking in the beginning, you get the little capsule corpse little transportation thing you use, and then once you get high enough, you can actually, your level gets high enough, you can you know, fly. You get the license to fly, and that's when it makes it so much easier. You can fly around the place, Canton City, and then you know, you fly wherever you want to. It looks super awesome. No loading screen like the first one. That's where the immersion kind of breaks in the first one, because there's like 4 different loading screens you have to go through, but this one is just all in this big hub world. So when you level up, and you will level up, there's only 80 levels so far. I think that's what they kind of did in the first Xenoverse game also. They did, like, I think it was 60 at first, or maybe 70, and then 80, then 90, then 99. So, you know, 1 through 80, and that's what you get. Each time you level up, you get like 3 or 4 points to add on to your character, and each points, you know, when you level up, you go to the menu and you add points to your health, stamina, your ki, your basic attack, which helps, you know, your normal fighting, your super melee attacks. So if you use a lot of melee supers, totally put in there, or your key super attacks, and you put into that. So it depends on what you want, you know, your character. You could kind of base it on whatever you want to. I personally went with balance, so I have a lot of key, just because I could, which for me to turn Super Saiyan, and then of course I have a decent amount of health and a decent amount of stamina, and then all of it's pretty much in basic attack and key attacks. I kind of left, well, I guess I want to say balance for me. I left melee super attacks kind of more lower, just because I don't use a lot of that. I'm more of a key user, Kamehameha, whatever. That's what I use. So, what did I really enjoy from Xenoverse 2 here? I really liked the character customization. For me, that was pretty awesome. Just like the first one, you get to make your own, you know, character from the Dragon Ball universe, or your own character to put into the Dragon Ball universe, and then you get to customize the way he looks, the way he dresses, you know, what moves can he do. I personally am a big fan of the Kamehameha wave, so I tend to have most of those as my specials and ultimates. But you know, there's a few things like I put into like Final Flash, explosive wave, evil explosive wave, and things like that, or Masenko. I did things like that, so that to me was pretty awesome, just to, you know, have your your footprint into the game, you know, in that universe. That was pretty cool. Another thing I really liked was really the hub world of the game. It looked pretty awesome. I mean, just the fact that it had different layers of it. You know, you have your city, and then you have the places where you can go and just like you know, buy things, buy items, and you know, the shop area. You have the Namek area. You have a place with the waterfall. It looks so freaking awesome. The fact that you don't have any loading times in between them, I think that was freaking awesome. I think that was fantastic how they did that. Made it so much better than in Xenoverse. And then of course, the last thing, or a few other things here, is the fast gameplay. I do like the faster gameplay, just because it's more in tune to what the anime and the manga is. You know, they're fighting fast, they're not fighting slow. So this is the only thing I can give, you know, why I like it more than like the Budokai series. The Budokai series is a well-defined game, and it's a fair game. It's because it's a 2D fighter, but this one's more of a 3D brawler, and it looks freaking awesome. You know, you're flying all over the place, everything's moving so fast. It's hard to track down at first, but once you learn how to play it, or once you get the game down, you know, you make everything look so much cooler. Comboing up, you know, with your fist, and then using your key attacks to do damage, to do additional damage. You know, teleporting behind them to avoid their attack, doing all that, using your meteor attacks to, yeah, it's just super awesome. You can combo all of that into you know, the game to make it a really fast paced game. Super awesome with that. And then that is pretty much it for what I liked about the game. What I didn't like about the game, wow, there's a few like glaring issues I do have problems with. The first is really the voices. I'm not talking about the quality of the voice. I'm talking about they just don't line up with how the mouse moves. You know, it's very old looking. You know, back when you know, with the Chinese movies, you know, they dubbed it over. They'll say a word and then the mouth just keeps running, or it'll stop and then they'll keep talking. It's very all over the place. Sometimes it matches up, sometimes it doesn't. So that's my problem with that. Of course, the gameplay can be a little bit repetitive, just because you have to roll through all these parallel quests, and to farm them can get a little bit tedious. And sometimes the game is pretty much simple. Mostly when you're trying to go through the storyline, you just power your way through it. But that, to me, it gets boring after a while. You're just kind of there, just looking like, oh, come on, next up. That's pretty much it. So, and then the last thing I didn't really enjoy about the game is the fact that the storyline is very the same as Xenoverse, the first Xenoverse game. It's kind of disappointing. They don't really throw any new bad guys at you, and that's my problem with it. Just to, you know, spoiler alert, they just didn't throw any new bad guys. There wasn't any twists here or there to, you know, to really like, whoa, okay, so this is the main bad guy now, or this is where they're going. They just didn't do anything like that. You kind of could see it from like a long shot. You're like, oh my gosh, that's the bad guy. Okay, cool. I've seen him before already. So that's pretty much it. So in the end, I am giving Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 on the PlayStation 4 a 8 out of 10. I felt like all that stuff they put in, it's better than the first game. You know, they took what defined the first game and kind of moved it, you know, bumped it up to the next level, and that to me was really awesome. But at the same time, they also used a lot of the assets from the old, you know, the first game, and they kind of just brought it over to the Xenoverse 2. They didn't really add much into it, so that's my really big problem with that. Other than, you know, same old storylines. I shouldn't say same storyline as from Xenoverse 1, and then translation, or I should say the mouth movements of the characters, when, you know, when it just doesn't match up with the voice. Sometimes you just get a little bit, it's off a bit. So that's it. That is 8 out of 10. It's still a very well made game. I do like the fact that they added, you know, more characters. I think they actually shrunk down the character list to a smaller one, but everything is a lot better. I think it runs at 60 frames per second, so it's so much smoother than Xenoverse 1. And just the hub world, I think the hub world really made the game much better. So anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed my video here. Like I said, it's just a discussion video. I kind of want to just bring that into, you know, how, you know, what I do now. It's harder for me to write a script and then talk about it than just to really just talk about it, you know, to a camera, because I can just throw everything out there, what I like, what I don't like, what this and this and this. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video here. I do have a lot of games I'm going to be trying to review. With this one down, next one up will hopefully be World of Final Fantasy. That one's going to take me some time. I did get to buy a few more games from that Target buy 2 get 1 free deal, so I got a few games that I want to review for that too. So anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the review, and hopefully I gotta see everybody next time. Peace out.